Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to Trigonometry Part 1, the course from dvdmathtutor.com. My name is Terry and I'm going to be your teacher for this course. In this introduction I just would like to talk to you about the basic layout of what we're going to do for this course. So we're going to start off by doing a complete review of everything that you need to know to be successful in trigonometry. Maybe you've seen some of our previous products like the algebra and the geometry courses part 1, and we cover all the necessary things in those courses, but just in case you haven't seen those courses, I want to spend a little bit of time reviewing everything that you need to know to be successful in the course. Things like Pythagoras' theorem and solving ratios and some basic facts about triangles. Things like knowing that the sum of the angles of any triangle is always 180. We need to know some basic facts like that so that we can learn trigonometry. So I just want to spend a little bit of time going over that. And after we finish the review, we're going to move on to the main topic of this course, which is really right triangle trigonometry. And I'll explain a little bit about what that means. I'm just going to abbreviate off. This is the first thing, trigonometry. We often abbreviate that just as trig, and it kind of becomes its own word even. So I'll probably use the word trig a lot, which is just an abbreviation for trigonometry. So you can really do trigonometry on any kind of triangle, but in this course we're only going to focus on doing trigonometry for right triangles, just because it's our first course on trigonometry and we don't want to get too complicated right away. So what is a right triangle? Oops. I guess the first thing you should know is, what is a right angle? Well, a right angle is just a fancy way to say a 90-degree angle. A 90-degree angle, it's like the corner of a square, right? It's kind of like right here. It's kind of like the wall to a floor or a wall to a ceiling. It's a corner of that measures 90 degrees. So a right triangle then is simply a triangle with a right angle. You see in this triangle here, this angle right here is 90 degrees. And we always like to write in this little symbol right here to indicate that it is 90. So this kind of triangle here, where we have one of the angles being 90 degrees, in other words a right triangle, this is really the main type of object that we're going to be studying in this course. And we want to get good at solving problems involving the angles of this triangle and the sides of it. Of course, this triangle here has 3 sides and 3 angles. One of the angles is 90. And let me just discuss right now the 2 basic problems that we're going to encounter in right triangle trigonometry. We're going to go over this a lot in detail later, but for right now, I just want to do a quick review of the type of things we're going to be looking at in this course. So there's kind of 2 problems that are central to what we're going to be learning. Let's say we have this kind of situation here. Let me say, I don't know, this hypotenuse here, that's a term we'll learn later. But let's just say this side here measures, I don't know, say 13 inches. And let's say this angle here measures, how about 50 degrees? Then on this triangle, I could ask you some questions then. I could ask you, what is the measure of this side? How do you think you go about solving a problem like that? I think maybe if you've never seen trigonometry before, to solve a problem like that, you might be tempted to take out a piece of paper and use a ruler and a protractor. You remember a protractor? It's like kind of a half of a circle with little marks on here, and you can use that to measure angles. So maybe you draw a triangle using a protractor and a ruler that has a 13-inch side here, a 90-degree angle there, and a 50-degree angle there. And then you'd find this side by measuring it with a ruler. Now that'll kind of give you a decent answer. If you provided you drew the diagram accurately, you'll get a decent answer there. But this is not the way we want to be solving these problems. Okay, we don't want to use a ruler and a protractor to solve these kind of problems. We're actually going to be showing you the exact techniques that we're going to use to solve them, and they certainly don't involve a ruler or a protractor. So in this one, do you see that we're kind of given, when I say given, I mean as numbers, right? So here we're given a side and an angle. And that's the first kind of scenario. I could have just as well asked you what is the length of this side, right? It doesn't matter. Notice I could also even ask you the length, or not the length, the measure of this angle right here. But that's actually an easy question which you probably know how to do already, right? Because remember, the sum of the angles of a triangle is 180, right? So if this is 90 and this is 50, this would have to be 40. So that's not really a difficult question. But finding these two sides here, I don't think you've ever seen that before, unless you've studied some trigonometry. What is the other kind of situation? Well, the other situation is if you're given two sides as numbers. That's what I mean when I say given. So if you're given two sides, maybe this is 13 inches again, whatever, and this side here is, I don't know, 6 inches. I could ask you, what is this angle? Here I'm asking to find sides, right? Here I'm asking to find an angle. And again, to solve this problem, maybe you'd be tempted to take a ruler and a protractor, well, I guess just a ruler in this case, make a triangle, well, yeah, make a triangle like that and then try to measure that with a protractor. That will give you an approximately correct answer, but that is not the technique that we want to use to solve these kind of problems. We have a much better technique using these buttons sine, cos, and tan. Maybe you've seen those buttons on your calculator and you wondered what they were for. Well, we're going to be talking about those buttons in detail in this course. And if you don't have a clue what those mean right now, that's no problem, because we're going to be going into that in depth very slowly. And I just want to throw out some ideas right now. It doesn't matter if you understand them right now, because we're going to be going over it all over again and very slowly. And by the way, I guess back here I could have asked you what this angle is, right? Same kind of problem. But notice this side here, finding this side here is maybe something you already know how to do, because that's just Pythagoras, isn't it? Because if you know two sides of a right triangle, you can always find the third side using Pythagoras. Alright, so I think you guys have a basic idea of what right triangle trigonometry allows you to solve. Okay, it allows you to solve a problem like this, where you have a side and an angle given to you as a number, and you want to find one of the other two sides. It also allows you to solve a problem where you're given two sides of a right triangle, and you want to find one of the missing angles in there. So that's what it's going to allow us to do. And I'll just throw this out as well. We're going to learn this strange looking mnemonic here called SOHCAHTOA. And that just helps us notice the S, C, and T. That corresponds to S, C, and T right here. Oh. And we'll talk about what that means later. You're not expected at all to have a clue what that means at this point. And so that's the next topic we're going to be talking about. So like I said, this course is only going to be dealing with right triangles, okay? In other words, triangles which have a 90-degree angle. And trigonometry part 2 we're going to be doing trigonometry on any triangle, but we're going to save that for the next course. So after we master the techniques to solve these kinds of problems, we're going to look at some word problems. We always have to do word problems in math, whether we like it or not, because very naturally a trigonometry happens to come up in very natural kind of problems. Like, for example, in this picture right here, why don't we pretend that this is the ground? Okay, this is the ground right here, and if this is a ladder, let's say this is a house maybe, so it's some kind of, this is the wall of a house, and outside here we have a ladder that's leaning up against the wall. Maybe instead of 13 inches, of course, the ladder might be like 13 feet, right? And the ladder is, say, leaning against the house at an angle of 50 degrees. The question would be, how high does the ladder reach up the wall of the house? Right? So you see, if you know how to solve this kind of abstract problem with just a triangle, you can easily transfer your knowledge over to solving problems that occur naturally. Or maybe this is a radio tower, and this is a wire that connects the tower to the ground. And maybe the wire is 13 feet long, and the angle to the ground is 50 degrees. A question could be, how far is the wire connected to the ground to the base of the tower, which would be the value of this question mark, right? So we'll see that word problems, they come up. A lot of word problems involve trigonometry, and we'll learn how to solve that. The next topic we'll just spend not too much time on, just a little bit, is special values. And I don't even really want to explain even roughly what that means right now. I just want to skip right over that. But when we get to it, you'll understand it. It's not really that hard. The last thing is, for this course, is going to be a final exam. Like all of our courses, at the end of the course, we have a final exam. It's a PDF file. If you look on the disc, on the DVD, explore the DVD there, you'll see the folder for the final exam. I just want to emphasize, don't look at that exam right now, okay? Because you haven't even done the course yet. It'll kind of ruin it for you if you start looking at the problems on the final exam. What you need to do is to save that final exam until the very, very end of the course, until you've completed all of the lessons, and then, and only then, should you open that final exam. Because if you do the course and then try the final exam, you'll get a sense of how well you've understood the course, right? And the exam is actually quite long, but there's no time limit, okay? If you want to spend an hour a day for 4 or 5 days, off and on, that's fine. Just as long as you complete the exam and you make nice, clear solutions, there is no time limit. I don't really like time limits when I'm solving math problems. I just want to take my time and understand things and work at my own pace. So the exam is long, though. It's like 32 questions, and it will take you a long time to solve. But you don't have a time limit, so just relax, do it over a course of several days or even weeks, whatever you like. And then you can look at the solutions for the final exam, and we'll show you how to grade it. And it's out of 150 points. And you'll get we'll show you exactly how to assign points for each question, and you'll get some mark out of 150, which will give you a good sense of how well you understood the course. So don't get stressed out about the exam now. It's nothing official. It's just to help you reinforce everything you've learned, okay? So this should be a fun course. I'm looking forward to getting started. So let's, in the next video, let's begin our review, and I'll see you there.